Hi, I'm Julie. Welcome to the SoCal Garden Haven. Come along with me as we explore my Southern California garden, discovering what's growing, and finding a little peace and happiness along the way. This is my fairy garden, or one of my fairy gardens. Isn't this cute? And I planted this fairy garden in an old fountain. So this was actually a triple layer fountain. And the top part is a little girl, and I actually use that as statuary now. And then this I plant for my fairy garden. And you can see it has some of my complementary colors, the pink and the blue in particular. Very fun to make fairy gardens, very magical. You can see I have this little fairy here, and this is actually a nearby plumeria that hasn't budded out yet, or I should say leafed. It's starting to leaf out. You can see actually it's one that I planted last year, so this will be its first year with foliage, and I needed something to hold up the fairy house, so it worked out quite well there. And then I was able to hang the fairy, you can see, so she's actually flying, and we've got another little elf fairy boy back there. And you can put in decorative stones like this. And a lot of this is covered in my book, Fairy Gardening, and I'll put a link below for that. This is a nice vinca here, just doing really well here. And one thing I cover in my book, which actually I co-wrote with my co-author Beverly Turner, who really is the fairy godmother of fairy gardening. You want to create a story when you plant your fairy garden. So you want to have something that's going on, that's happening, and so she is on the lookout for what's going on in her fairy kingdom, and he is in the back there too, ready to tell the masses what's going on as well. And these are some of their subjects here that are also looking for what's happening. And I actually had, when I planted this, I didn't have these guys in here, but my granddaughter, who absolutely adores fairy gardens and fairies, of course, she's going to be 4 soon. And one of her favorites is the crystals, her crystals, she calls them, her jewels. She decided she wanted to put some fairies in as well, so she put these fairies in here. And you also want to create some movement with the fairy garden, so obviously she creates movement. And this cool thing that I got years ago is you can kind of put different stuff into the fairy garden that maybe you've had hanging around a bit. Not sure what to do with it, but you like it because it's cute or it's pretty. So that's a fun thing to do as well. And of course they make fairy garden accessories. And this right here is actually a piece of a broken pot. So I do that a lot. If I shouldn't say too much, but if I do have a broken pot, I use, and especially it's a pretty one, I will use pieces of it and decorate the garden as well. So that's another fun little tip here. Alyssum is a really nice filler plant here for especially for tight spaces like this, because this is a pretty shallow bowl. So I didn't want to plant anything that would be very deep rooted and need a lot of soil, and that works well. And there's just one vinca in here which is growing and filling out very nicely. And then there's the name of this one is escaping me right now. But that is very pretty as well, as you can see, filling in nicely. So we're totally repurposed here. A fountain that had started to leak, and it wasn't ideal for birds bathing because they didn't like to do that, because I think that they didn't feel safe. If you've seen my bird bath fountain video, you'll see the kind of bird bath fountain I have now where the birds bathe all day long. So I was able to repurpose the bottom part and then the top part, which I'll show you at some point when I do a statuary video as well. And then you see back here, I've got this beauty back here. Kind of really sets everything off with the fairy garden. It's the backdrop to the fairy garden kingdom there, which is really, really fun. So a very fun way to have fun in the garden. It was a magical way, because when you do work on fairy gardens, you do get lost in the story and the possibilities, and it does really bring you back to childhood. Even just wondering what's going on inside of the fairy castle there. What are they talking about? What are they doing? What is she seeing? What is he seeing? They all seem very intent on something happening. But you can also tell a story by repositioning the little characters here. So you can see now it looks like these gals are having a little talk. And then the elf is wondering, what's going on over there? So just that sort of thing can really make a difference. And I did remember that this plant is a lobelia. And I hadn't mentioned that this is a beautiful blue salvia. So lots of nice color to pull together, because that's another thing you want to consider is the colors in the whole design as well. So really fun, something very exciting for children to look at and to contribute to. And like I said, a very fun way to enjoy the garden and focus back on some very happy, fun, unfettered times. Thanks for spending some time today with me in the garden. If you enjoyed being here, feel free to subscribe and come back again soon.